A listener warning. Please be advised that this episode contains content that may be disturbing to some listeners, including descriptions of violence. Listener discretion is advised.
Life upon the wicked stage ain't ever what a girl supposes.
I'm Jen.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Olivia.
And we are, in fact, three different people.
This podcast focuses on true crime under the spotlight of arts and entertainment. So grab your beverage of choice and settle in.
Places, ladies.
Here's our episode.
Speaking of revenge.
Revenge, listeners. Yes, we do have full-on conversations before we jump on the air.
Listeners, this episode this week is sponsored by Revenge. It's sponsored by this Talbot style sweater I'm wearing that the more I look at it, the more I'm like, what was I thinking?
Talbots.
No, I like it. Well, but you guys
French.
also, like, I didn't glam up my makeup today, and I'm just realizing you guys' eyes looked like so gorgeous. You're like,
really?
Pop. And I feel like mine
thanks.
are like, they disappear into my face because I don't have all my eye makeup on.
Olivia, you could have fooled me. I think you look great.
Well, thank you. It's the boobs.
This episode is also sponsored by Olivia's Cleavage.
There we go.
Olivia's bosom.
I'll just distract down here. It's like the opposite,
shake it,
like
shake.
down here, not up here.
Yeah.
It's sponsored.
Yeah. Hey, eyes down. Eyes down. What are you doing?
Eyes down.
That
It's
actually-
sponsored by Mercury in retrograde.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that's the truth right
And
there.
all these topics of cleavage and eyes down here and revenge definitely fit into today's episode. Like
segues.
Like
We're
we
so
did.
good at them.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
What are we talking about, Olivia?
Yeah,
This is.
tell us.
I'm so psyched for this.
We are talking about Broadway Butterfly, the life and death of Vivian Gordon.
She's dead?
Spoiler.
Dun,
Sorry.
dun.
Well, I think it would actually be scarier if she wasn't, because she was born in 1891. So
Much like Olive Thomas.
and
Yeah.
she's and she's here in the.
Did you?
Oh
All right.
So the
Ready?
Broadway Butterfly.
Yeah, so.
Broadway Butterfly.
Who was
Speaking of
Broadway
segues.
Okay. Yeah. What a segue. Okay. So I'm gonna open this podcast. I'm gonna open it with the discovery of a body,
Oh.
and then we'll get into the who, what, where, and why.
Oh, shit.
So yes, buckle up. February 26th.
Buckle in, bitches.
Buckle in, bitches. February 26, 1931. So we're going back in time
Oh,
a little
okay.
bit for this one. New York City, where prohibition was wild and so were the women. So the morning around 8:20, 8:30 in the morning, Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx, a tanker truck driver is heading to work, and he, unfortunately, off the side of the road, sees a body in the park of a redheaded woman. There's a slip knot around her neck.
Oh, dear.
Yes, her eyes are open, legs spread. She's in a black velvet dress with cream lace. She has gloves on with a little lace around the gloves.
She's got a cute fit, at least.
She was looking good. And she has black suede shoes, one of which was discovered near the body, one was off, and was described as, quote, somewhat plump. Is that necessary? It was described as
First of all, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, without even looking at a photo of this woman, because I have no idea who we're talking about even.
Right.
I'm
Me
gonna go
neither.
out on a limb and say she just looks like a person.
Correct.
Like
that. There's so
Oh,
much.
she was a size 6.
Right.
no.
Remember how when we were kind of doing the lead for this one last week, we said we were the character for the Bill Hader, where it's like, it has sex, it has the mob, it has alcohol. This story has everything, including a lot of objectification of women. So just
Good.
get ready, get that rage. Let's get it going right
should
off the
wear
bat.
I
Somewhat
have
plump.
a fucking patriarchy shirt from Wine and Crime. I should go put it on.
Yeah, this story is full of it.
listeners, as we're recording this episode, we just dropped Jen's excellent episode on Nixium, our first culty one. I feel like we've had a lot of objectification of women's bodies lately. Like, not our fault, but this is a trope where, again, never okay. Like, I would love there to be less of this, but this seems to be a feature.
This does. So, near the body are 2 crumpled newspaper articles. They are regarding stories that were running at the time about police corruption in Manhattan, the NYPD Vice Squad specifically, and the magistrates at the time falsely accusing women of prostitution. And Governor Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was governor of New York at the time. So these newspapers were crumbled up next to the body. So it seemed like a clear statement was being made.
A little but like the Black Dahlia.
There was no ID. There was no indication of who she was. So they take her back to the morgue and they're able to identify her by her fingerprints. And she's identified as Benita Franklin. They had her on record because she had been arrested in 1923. So, 8 years earlier, she'd been arrested for prostitution. Yeah. So, then they also discover that she is not known as, however, Benita Franklin, but she's known as Vivian Gordon.
Okay, there it is. I was like, wait, who's this Benita?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So who is Vivian Gordon, and how did her body end up in a park in the Bronx, and how did it lead to the fall of the mayor of New York?
Ooh.
Glad you asked.
Yes, we did.
So fresh on this. I have never heard of this Olivia somehow.
No, me neither.
So I started reading. This came from this great book. If anyone wants to really dive into the story, but this book goes way deeper. I had to cut a lot of it out for this. The book goes way deeper than just Vivian. It's called Broadway Butterfly. It's by Pulitzer Prize winning journalist Anthony DeStefano.
Ooh.
Yeah. So creds to him. He's done a lot of research on her. But the book also goes into a lot of what was going on in Manhattan and New York at this time. So in the 20s and 30s, we've talked about it. We've had a lot of murders and scandals.
We have.
I feel like this time in history really lends itself to this stuff. And some names that I never expected that were going to come up in this story did. So let's get into who was Vivian Gordon. So who was Vivian Gordon? So she was born in 1891 in Detroit, Michigan. And talk about a riches to rags to riches to dead story.
You know how it goes.
She, as one does.
That old trope.
That old trope. It holds true. So she was born to a family, one of 3 children, I believe. And she was born to a family that was well-to-do in Detroit. And they wanted their children to have a really good cultural upbringing, like a proper upbringing. So they sent her and her sister to a convent in Canada because it's so close to the border. So they were able to go over the border. You know, people were scared of each other's countries at the time. And it was the Ladies of Loretto Convent. And
I'm sorry, that just sounds like a brothel, not a convent.
Right? Well,
just,
foreshadowing.
The lady, like if I was going to open a brothel, I would be like, not Ladies of Loretto? I don't know. It sounds good.
It does. It has a lot of L's.
La 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 la
La la la. So she that should be a soundbite. La la la. It's my new ringtone. So she took music lessons. She learned like violin and piano, and was known as being incredibly dysfunctional. Tried to run away. Tried to kill herself at one point.
No.
Yeah. So, well, allegedly, I don't know. You know, the whole female hysteria thing, but she was she was not happy in the convent. And it wasn't like they didn't make her a, what'd you say? Yeah. It wasn't like to become a nun, but there was actually a school associated with the convent.
Right.
So like
But
children.
it's still that lifestyle and that
Yes.
vibe. Like convent school,
It's a vibe.
even not to be a nun. Like that's still very much a thing.
And it was like,
Yeah.
strict, taught lots of manners, this is the proper way, etiquette, all that stuff.
How do you solve a problem like Maria? Like,
Well, in this case, Maria ran off to New York. So
I love it.
when she was about 18, she fled the life of the convent and came to New York. She wanted to be a chorus girl. She wanted to be on stage. So this is where the term Broadway Butterfly comes from. Mm-hmm. I love this. So, I mean, I guess it's not actually that great. Actually, when you think about it. But at that time, so this was the early 1900s, women that, I mean, you can just imagine how restricted the life was. And it was during Prohibition. And so just everybody was restricted. But a lot of young women were flocking to New York to be on Broadway or to get into showbiz. And most of them, as we know, is the case with this industry, most of them didn't make it. Yep. So they would end up as other kinds of professional ladies.
Sure.
And so it became known as the Broadway moths or the Broadway butterflies because they were like drawn to the flame and then singed.
But the fact that this was enough of a phenomenon, Olivia,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that because like we've talked about a few different actresses of this, I'll say the same time frame, like probably Evelyn Nesbit would have been an early one, and the earlier in the 1900s, and then we had like Olive Thomas and like Annie Russell, like some different people who've had varying degrees of I'll say like
success
negative experience or success
or
Yeah, but I did not realize that it was to the level where it got a name.
It had its own name.
So widespread.
Right.
I had no idea.
When I picked up the book, I thought, oh, they've named her the Broadway Butterfly. No, this was like the phenomenon of young women not wanting to get married at the time, of course, but like wanting this career, this life on the stage, what they thought was this glamorous life. And most of them then ended up there broke, homeless, and they only had one thing they could sell, and it was their bodies. So
it's terrible.
Yeah. Welcome to New York City. She did have a modicum of success. Mm-hmm. She never made it, but she did get cast as a chorus girl, and she ended up in a vaudeville show. Sure. So she ended up kind of on the circuit when she first got there. The vaudeville show ended up in Charleston, and in 1912, she met John I don't know if it's Bischoff or Biscoff. It's Bischoff.
I wanted to be Biscoff like the cookies.
The cookie, so do I.
Okay. Me too.
As I read it,
That's
I kept
more
saying
fun.
Biscoff in my head. We're going to make it Biscoff.
If it wasn't, it is now, and he's not here to tell us different. So,
Correct.
So Biscoff. So she meets John Biscoff. And what's interesting is they never actually legally marry, but they live together long enough that it becomes a common law marriage. So
they had common law marriage even back then. Interesting.
Yeah. So what she tried to do, she tried to abandon the showgirl life. She meets him, she marries him. He worked, by the way, he was a like a prison guard. Like he worked in that industry.
In Charleston? Is that where she met him?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe
I wondered
jail.
if he was
Maybe not prison.
money.
Jail. So they get married, and she has a daughter in 1915. Now, by this point, she has already changed her name to Vivian Gordon. When he meets her, she's Vivian Gordon. She has not been Benita for a long time.
Vivian Gordon is her stage name.
That's right.
I say, was this strictly professional, or were there any other reasons why she was like, I'm going to change my name pretty, not even just the first name, like the whole thing. Like, this is a very different name.
It's actually not, there's no reason given. And I've actually read a few articles and the book. No one's sure exactly why she picked this name, but I think as we will delve into Vivian, we're going to understand that she tends to blow up things she doesn't really like. She kind of is like a set it on fire type of girl.
Sure.
Scorched earth.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And so I think she was like, that name no longer serves me. I am not her. So we're just going to go in a completely different direction. So Vivian Gordon, but in a very Lorelai Gilmore way, when she has her daughter, she names her daughter Benita.
Ha.
So her daughter is named after herself.
I love it.
So she tries to live this life. She has a daughter. She's got a common law husband. Not quite, the white picket fence, I guess, but right.
Almost.
She is very, I think, as we have found with case after case that we have covered in the last 2 seasons, I do think there's some kind of undiagnosed mental illness here.
Okay.
Because she also she has a lot of high highs and a lot of low lows ever since she was a child back in the convent. Mm-hmm. She ends up not being able to adapt to this kind of normal life. So in 1920, she takes Benita and flees back to New York.
Oh.
And she's like, I want to be a star. So she heads back to New York to live that lifestyle. And she almost immediately starts taking up with various men. Fine girl, like you do you, but she also has young Benita with her. So in 1923, this episode happens that changes the course of everyone's life that we are going to talk about in this story. She gets she's dating a guy. She had some boyfriends, and this current one, she was dating him. It's vague. I have found 2 different reports. One is that they were actually still together at the time. The other is that he had moved out and they were just acquaintances at the time.
Okay.
So not quite sure what the situation was, but she was heading to his apartment. Benita was home in her apartment, and she meets this attractive man on the street. His name's Anthony McLaughlin. We can awooga that later.
Oh.
I'll get
ready. I'll get ready for next time.
Okay. Anthony McLaughlin. And she flirts with him, apparently on the street. And they're talking, and it's a little confusing how this plays out. It seems that one recalling of this is that she invited him back to the apartment. And the other one is that she just heads to the apartment to see Marks, her boyfriend / ex-boyfriend / current lover. In any case, she ends up in Mark's apartment with McLaughlin, and then a bunch of police raid the apartment and accuse her of prostitution. Prostitution, not prosecution.
Wow.
Prostitution. And arrest Marks, who was an ex-con, because that's what, a lot of people in New York at the time. And arrest him for promoting prostitution. So she's never
gonna hurt my arm, reaching for this charge.
Yes.
This seems like a lot. So
right. They weren't.
Was it the fact that she flirted on the street? Is that illegal now? What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you not allowed? Was he an undercover cop?
He was an undercover cop. Andrew McLaughlin was an undercover cop.
Wait. It didn't do it.
Hold on. We'll say it again. Andrew McLaughlin.
There it is.
There you go. Yes. So she gets arrested, taken to the courthouse, and charged. She claims innocent. She wasn't caught in flagrante, and even if she had been, there wasn't money exchange.
I was just gonna say, was there any money exchange?
Nope.
It's not prostitution if there's no money exchange.
This feels very flimsy, and even the there has to be, I don't know what the official legal line or justification for it is, but there has to be. Flirting is not a crime, and also if it was. A whole lot more people would be charged with attempted. Yeah, it's you were attempting sex work. We saw you. You winked, and it's I don't know.
You're attempting sex work, but not very well.
I didn't wink. I had something in my eye.
This feels flimsy at best.
God, that sucks.
Yeah, so she gets convicted. I mean, the only evidence is he said, she said, because now her boyfriend.
He's a cop.
Because her boyfriend was out on he was a former felon.
Well,
so
that must mean she
he was shipped back.
Right.
So a couple things happen to Vivian in this moment. One is she never gets over the fact that she feels like she was set up.
Yeah.
She never gets over this.
Because she was set up?
Probably. And her daughter was taken away.
Oh, no.
So her daughter was taken back by John Biscoff, and full custody was given to him.
At least she didn't go to like the state.
Well, that's true. That's
yeah,
right.
but
Still.
to be a man in a button-down shirt, they're like,
Yep.
here you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. So she gets sent to Bedford Reformatory for 2 years, which is like a Reformation
Is
like,
that in New York?
school.
Uh-huh.
It must
Bedford?
be in New York because she's arrested
so.
in the Bronx.
Upstate, I want to say.
Ashley's like, last
Yes,
time
it
I
is.
was there.
Bedford
Okay.
Falls, New York. Well done.
Aha.
Isn't that It's a Wonderful Life? Okay.
Yep.
Merry Christmas, you old building and loan.
Merry Christmas, you old reformatorium with falsely accused of women.
That's where Mr. Potter went at the end.
No, that's where what's her name, Violet, was like.
Oh,
gonna
poor
go.
Violet.
Bick. So
So she goes to the reformatory in
she
Bedford
goes to the
Falls.
reformatory in
Bedford
Bedford
Falls.
Falls.
No Jimmy Stewart in sight.
No, it's not a wonderful life for her.
Oh. When she gets out, Vivian is not quite the same. She has made a lot of quote friends. In other words, I think she's made some not like that. Oh, it's not like sorry.
I went right there.
You did.
Jen
Well,
was jumping.
I was
Some of the
ready.
stories
That's
do go
why
that
I get
direction.
the opportunities. Because I just jump right there.
lesbians? No, there's no indication this time. Even though we've had that with Mama Rose and probably
And
Annie Russell, but
Annie Russell a little bit.
yeah.
We love her.
No, this one yeah. But she has made some acquaintances in the starting to be the underworld
Okay.
of New York City.
All
Because they
right.
were also at the reformatory.
Right. So when she gets out, she basically what happens is she starts now she has this rap sheet for prostitution. She always for the rest of her life protests that she was doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
But the sad irony is she ends up working in that industry.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's nothing left to her to do because her reputation's ruined. She's lost her daughter.
She's Fontaine.
Yeah, she is.
Selling her teeth is what's happening.
She is
No.
Fontaine. She dreamed a dream.
Yeah. So she starts working for Polly Adler, who was the famous madam
Yeah.
of the time in Manhattan. She was like a queen of the night type of. So
I want to play her.
Other parts Jen will be playing in the upcoming Lifetime television movie.
Yeah, basically.
queen of the night. Yeah. She also becomes quite an alcoholic. So in New York at this time, the corruption is so widespread. There is a group in charge of New York called Tammany Hall. So Tammany Hall was the political party that was in charge of New York during this time. And they were a Democratic party that dominated the courts. They dominated the mayorship. And they had their hands in everything. And it became incredibly corrupt. The police became corrupt. The judges and the magistrates, many of them were bought or owned by Tammany Hall. And the mayor that was in place, his name was Mayor Jimmy Walker. And he was known as Gentleman Jimmy. He always looked really dapper. He was a good-looking, black-haired Irishman. Often wore a hat. Like, he just was this stylish gentleman. Well, he also was called Jimmy Goodtime Walker because Jimmy Walker, on one hand, he liked to talk about morals and ethics and prohibition is important. And Jimmy, at night was in all the music halls. He was at all the speakeasies. He was a partying, good time guy. But during the day, oh no, you know, we have to stay true to our values. And
A
so
double standard from a politician?
What?
I've never heard of such a thing.
I bet Jimmy Walker would be on the Epstein list.
I've never even met Epstein. I know not of whom you
Thank
speak.
God. What? Wait,
I
what?
was being him. I was being
Oh.
Jimmy Goodtime Walker.
Yeah.
Was that a question? Okay.
I've never been to a private island.
What do you mean? He wasn't
There's
at my
a
wedding.
there is a headline that was written just a few years ago about him, but I just love this headline because it goes, Jimmy Walker may have been NYC's most corrupt mayor, but damn was he fun.
Well, good. At least he was fun. Great.
Yeah. He was
least he wa-
married. He claimed to be this, pillar of society, good looking, charming looking guy.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure.
He turned a blind eye to everything that was happening in the city.
Look at him in his fur
I know, yeah.
jacket and his cigarette in his cigarette holder.
There's mobsters in New York. This is where the mafia started, was during this time.
Really?
This is where the mafia really began in New York because
In New York,
it began as bootlegging. So it
Gotta
began
start
as
somewhere.
these
Yep.
Groups. That's right. It began as these groups who started organizing themselves to run nightclubs, to run speakeasies, and to run gin, which is where Mama Rose got in trouble because she was making her bathtub gin. And it was
bathtub gin.
pissing off these organizations.
Don't piss off the mob.
As one
Cutting
does.
into their profits.
Yeah.
That's a no-no.
Arnold Rothstein, which is funny because the mob is known as so Italian, but Arnold Rothstein, a Jewish guy, it was he's seen as the founder of the mafia in New York, and he was,
As we know it.
right, and this was his time. He was an up and comer under Gentleman Jim's mayoral campaign.
Yeah.
So you've got the mob, you've got a lot of racketeering going on, you've got moonshine creations, and you have brothels, and you have these women of the night, these Broadway butterflies who were trying to make it. They can't, so they end up becoming working women in the prostitution world.
What a time to be alive.
Right?
It was wild. It was wild. So this is the world that now Vivian has basically become part of. So, but what's interesting about Vivian, she really was a pioneer, an entrepreneur, if you will. She went from becoming, basically a higher end call girl. Polly Adler was running this. She had this. So she starts figuring out the business, and she goes out on her own. So Vivian Gordon goes out on her own and starts putting together her own collection of girls. And she starts making a lot of connections with mafia, with gangsters. She's making connections with shady lawyers, laundering money. And she actually at one point is known as, quote, like a central bank for criminals. Oh. So she's making a ton of money, basically running her own. She's become her own madam. She's running this industry. She's making a lot of money doing it. And she starts becoming a loan shark to crooked businessmen and gangsters.
She says, look, you took my daughter away.
That's
this
right.
This is what you're going to get.
Now, John Biscoff, her ex-husband, gets remarried. They are raising Benita in Charleston. They're trying to kind of keep the life that Vivian is living a secret from Benita.
Sure.
They don't want her to know what's really going on. So
Sure.
now, alongside this, there's this rumors start going around because just like what happened to Vivian, getting arrested and out of nowhere, blindsided, reputation ruined, this is happening to women all over New York.
Surprise.
During this time period. So there is innuendo that a woman on the street, a single, alone woman on the street, can get arrested by an undercover cop or by a police officer. She gets arrested. She gets charged with prostitution. The only witness usually is the cop, or perhaps another guy that she happened to be talking to. Wrong place, wrong time, maybe? Maybe not. She gets arrested, and then while she's waiting to go to trial, she gets told, we can make all this go away if you pay us $100, $150, $200, whatever it is.
Wow.
If the woman pays up, this is how the racket goes. If the woman pays up, the accusing officer doesn't show up to court, and then the case is immediately thrown out, and she's let back on the street. If she can't pay, she gets charged with prostitution and put in jail.
Oh, absolutely not. So this goes back to what I was saying. I was like, what is the charge? Like, what do you have to do to constitute, like, oh, you're soliciting like prostitution if you are just like living your life on a street and you happen to speak to a man? Like, what?
People ask me for directions all the time. I'm resting nice face. I would be charged with prostitution.
Once again, Jen falls into the victim category. Whereas Ashley and I would be like, fuck off.
You would.
I was alone, like at Disney World, and like someone was like, can you tell me what time the 3:00 parade is? Like, this happens to me all the time.
Absolutely.
I
Prostitution.
was on Park Avenue, Olivia, and they were like, can you tell me where the museum is? It was like a man by himself. I was alone. Like,
You could have been arrested. Boom.
I could have been
Pinch.
arrested.
God damn
It was a sting operation.
And you know the worst part is if they let's say they could pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then what if they are a woman on their own and they don't have a way to make money? Then they're going to end up having to go into prostitution.
So that's what ends up happening to a lot of these women. Either they end up getting put in jail and then they get out of jail and they have a prostitution record, so they can no longer get a job. They're not considered a respectable member of society, so the only thing they can do is now become a sex worker. Or they pay, they get out, and then they're blackmailed.
Oh, God damn it.
The system. By the system.
This is like, we know what you did.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
like, I didn't.
Exactly.
And
now,
just for everybody out there, $200 in 1930 was $3,849 today.
I was just
Vivian now is part of this corrupt system because she's seen it happen. It happened to her.
Yeah.
She starts meeting other women that it's happened to. She starts becoming aware this is a reality that's happening, and she becomes convinced that it wasn't just a mistake or bad timing. She becomes convinced that she was framed. Like, she was set up, and she thinks she was set up by her ex-husband to get her daughter.
Biscoff cookies?
Oh, shit.
She thinks
He's not as sweet as he looks.
that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
no.
thinks Biscoff Cookies was in it with McLaughlin, the piece of shit cop.
Oh, hell no.
That's what she thinks. That's what she thinks.
We're back to revenge.
So that's right. So she pledges, like, to herself and to anyone that will listen, that she is going to get this charge reversed. She tries to appeal it. This becomes like her life mission because she wants her daughter back.
Yeah.
She tries to get her daughter back. She wants her daughter back so she can put her in theater. It's like life upon the wicked stage.
She wanted to be a stage mom.
She did. She and Mama Rose either would have loved each other or killed each other. I'm not sure, but
And how would they have loved each other? Who knows?
yeah.
There's worse things she could have wanted her daughter back for. That's all I'm
Exactly.
saying.
Well, that's true. So Vivian, over these next few years, so between now and 1931, so over these next 8 years.
Math again.
Math again. Ugh. Over these next 8 years, she really becomes much more of an uncontrolled alcoholic. And it's known that when she drinks, she becomes vicious and mean. So some of her best girls that work for her,
A vicious trollop, if you will.
yes, vicious trollop.
We talked about Lorelai earlier.
Trollop. Let's bring back that
Let's bring
word.
trollop too. Trollop's
We do like
the
floozy,
floozies.
but we also like trollop.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
It's a new Patreon tier.
There's the trollop, the tart, the floozy.
The madam. We'll have a madam up there. I'm
Madam.
changing it all.
I like it. So but she's known as becoming like really like volatile, violent even, and she's just drinking more and more, and it's perhaps untreated mental illness along with trauma.
Yeah.
She lost her daughter.
Trauma.
Yeah. So she figures out that, however, living in this world, she figures out her own scheme. And this is how she gets really powerful in the underworld of New York City and comes into kind of the crosshairs of some of these mobsters and comes into contact with some of these people. So she puts together what's called a badger game. So a badger game is what is also mentioned in the book is what happened to Alexander Hamilton.
Oh,
if you will recall.
Oh, shoot.
She would have her girls purposely, she would kind of do some stalking and some like recon and find these wealthy men, because New York, playground of the rich back then as well. A lot of millionaires and even billionaires in New York. They were going to New York to party. So a lot of them had their wives and children somewhere. They were going to New York to go to the speakeasies, to go to the strip clubs, to see the shows, go to the brothels. So she knew who these men were because she's been in the industry.
Right.
She would figure out, when they were around, what they were doing, and she would send her girls to seduce them. So the girls were in on it too, because they knew what was going on. So they would basically meet this guy. They would seduce him. They would get him into a compromising situation in a hotel room, whatever, and then drop the bomb. We're going to tell your wife. In would come Vivian. We're going to tell your wife, and unless you pay us X amount of money to keep this secret. So she became known as a blackmailer. She was very good at it, and she was raking in the money. She also had her own share of boyfriends. She apparently had gotten in with a billionaire who was like bought this gorgeous apartment for her. Like she lived on like the Upper West Side, I think it was, and had all this jewelry and made all this money. And that's how she started lending. Yes. Lending all this money to gangsters and corrupt businessmen, crooked lawyers.
Smart lady. See what happens when you go to convent school?
Who says an education doesn't pay? Now, something that I was like, oh, Viv, okay. She also was very vindictive towards her girls and towards other women.
Okay, I don't like that.
In the biz. So if her girls would maybe leave her and go work for a different madam, or found out that they were two-timing, working for Polly and for her, she would allegedly, maybe it's not alleged, it might be actually documented, but she, according to the girls that some of them were interviewed, she would send them on a date and then call the Vice Squad. I know that so-and-so is at risk.
Vivian, you were winning for me, but
Vivian.
People are complicated, you guys.
Yeah,
People contain multitudes.
So many layers. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Disappointing. Don't
I
look
mean,
under her.
was it particularly between her and Polly, or were there other
they respected one another.
Madams?
They actually respected
All right.
one another. And she had a great quote. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. That I found that she talked about Polly and said about Vivian, she was just another woman out to feather her nest quickly.
Yeah, Polly.
So I think they respected one another. They definitely competed, but people were, especially towards the end, really scared of Vivian. Like, she was known as, like I said, violent, volatile, alcoholic. Yeah, she would, obviously she's turning her own girls into the cops if she got mad at them.
No one
shitty.
is exempt from her wrath if you cross her.
Yeah,
That's right.
No one is safe.
The other thing that's kind of interesting is she also lent money to Broadway producers. So she became a Broadway producer.
I love it. She's like, if I can't be on Broadway, I'm going to produce the Broadway.
Yes. I'm going to own the Broadway.
What a roundabout way to.
I love her in a lot of ways.
It's true. It's true. So she had dealings allegedly in and around perhaps Oscar Hammerstein.
What?
He was in the mix of all this craziness. So Broadway producers were part of her, not client list for the women, but client list for the money.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
So
because theater costs money, famously.
A lot of money.
Theater does cost money, whether or not you pay your actors. Anyway, basically single women, divorcees, widows, in and around the Times Square area just could be picked up. So
That's our one saving grace is we're not in and around the Times Square area.
Not this week. I'm going to be there in like 2 weeks.
That's true. Okay, well, stay out. Make sure someone's with you.
Make a Starbucks run. It was like, might not come back rich. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Might get picked up for prostitution. I didn't do it. Jen and Olivia have bail money ready.
I accidentally made eye contact with a man, and now I'm in jail.
A man.
So Oscar Hammerstein, when he died, he was married to a young, beautiful actress named Emma.
Okay.
So he had children by his first wife, or perhaps even second wife. I think he might have been married a couple times. But he had married she was known as one of the most beautiful women on Broadway. Well, he died in 1919. There was a huge litigation between his daughters and Emma, which she was his third wife. I'm seeing that now. He didn't have a will, so he didn't.
God damn it.
Son of a bitch.
So what's interesting about Hammerstein is he was apparently a terrible businessman. When he died, he had very little money left, but he did have the Manhattan Opera House. That is what he owned.
Oh.
That is what
I
the
didn't know he
daughters were
owned that.
fighting Emma over, because that's basically all that was left in his estate. Well, she lost.
Emma lost?
Emma lost.
Oh, Emma.
She ended up homeless. Emma Hammerstein ended up homeless in Manhattan. In May of 1930, Emma was arrested at the Hotel Winthrop by 4 policemen.
God damn it.
Charged with, quote, immoral conduct, which is what they used to say for prostitution.
God
She
damn it.
allegedly, they said that she offered to perform a sex act for $30 to one of these undercover policemen. And
I want to know what this was.
Yeah, what was this sex act?
Did she show her knee? Like, probably
She-
everything.
it
Took
was
off her glove.
one of these absolute bullshit setups.
Yeah.
Because she complained for years that she was completely set up, and she also said that she didn't need money at the time because she had been paid for her story about, I think, her life and being married to Oscar. She had been
Shit
paid.
ass family.
An insurance agent said a cop that he had met in the courthouse approached him, offered him cash if he would loiter in the lobby of the Hotel Winthrop, arranged to meet Hammerstein's widow at her apartment, and then notify police so they could barge in. As related by the agent, the procedure was similar to what scores of other women claimed had been used to set them up for false arrest. The insurance agent was told by the cop, quote, "Be sure to have your coat off and leave money in plain sight. I'll give you I'll give you $150 if she's arrested and $150 more if she's convicted."
Oh my God.
So they were targeting her.
not.
They were targeting her because they knew she was a single, alone, desperate woman. The agent said he told Emma about the conversation after he saw the news of her arrest, because he had said no. Like, he actually had a conscience, like a soul. So he said, no, I'm not going to do that. And then he saw in the news that she was arrested for exactly that. So he went to her and said, hey, you were set up. They tried to use me to do it. And I said, no.
Oh, God. Lucky.
So, yeah,
somebody
because
came
of who
forward for
Emma
her.
was, it did catch the eye of the newspapers.
Sure.
FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who is governor of New York, is seeing this stuff in the paper. He's paying attention to what's going on.
Okay.
So he goes to a former judge who was not a Tammany Hall guy. He was actually anti-Tammany Hall. FDR goes to him and is like, listen, I want you to investigate what is going on in specifically the Vice Squad, because that's who's making all these arrests.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this former judge is named Samuel Seabury. He's kind of a hero in this story.
We like this judge.
We like him. He starts.
He's kind of handsome too.
Seabury. Actually, yes, he is. I put a photo of him up there. He's
Very dapper, very proud.
dapper. You can kind of tell that it's just one photo, but he looks pretty like a by the book guy. He's the perfect guy to do this because Tammany Hall already doesn't like him because they didn't own him basically.
Right.
So he starts an investigation. So papers start reporting on this corruption investigation. And of course you can imagine Samuel Seabury starting to investigate the magistrates, because they had magistrates at the time, and the police. He was not well liked. He's getting death threats. He's being told to back off. He's like, nope. Like, he just carries on. Samuel Seabury had a mission,
Like,
and
stay mad, assholes. Like,
yeah, he was like, what you gonna do? I've got FDR over here who's telling me I've got the go ahead. So while he's investigating, Vivian is reading this in the papers, and she sees, finally a chance to, she wants her conviction overturned. So 7 years later, she wants her conviction overturned so she can get her daughter back.
and her good name.
And her good name, which still isn't her real name, but still her good fake name back.
Her good fake name, her madam
so
name.
that she can run her brothel above board.
Listen.
Oh, I love it.
Hey friends, Jen here, and we hope you're enjoying this episode of Life Upon the Wicked Stage. Just a few quick reminders. If you're looking for any of the visuals that we've mentioned in this or any episode of the podcast, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Wicked Stage Pod or Facebook at Life Upon the Wicked Stage. If you want more, please join our Patreon by searching the Wicked Stage Podcast. There you'll find ad-free episodes, videos of our recordings, mini-sodes, behind-the-scenes content, giveaways, and so much more. And the most important side note, if you like the show, please give us a nice rating wherever you listen. It sounds silly, but it's still the best way to get the word out and support us in this crazy podcast world. Well, lights are blinking, intermission's over, so grab those snacks and another drink and enjoy the rest of the show.
She writes, so here's the time. I'm going to get into the timeline a little bit because this is very indicative. Okay, so 1931, the investigation's going on. She writes a letter in like January-ish, maybe early February. She writes a letter to her ex-husband, Biscoff, cookies, and Officer Asshole McLaughlin. And she, in her letters, she tells them that she is going to go to the commission and report the frame-up that they did on her.
Good.
And she is going to tell them the whole story. Now, Vivian, she's used to blackmailing people and getting what she wants at this point.
Sure, she's good at it.
She's very good at it. I think she didn't have fear because I'm like, that was stupid. Why did you do that?
But she's been dealing with, I'll say, the underworld, if you will, as a whole. And is also, she doesn't strike me as someone who's like reckless in the sense and just like shooting her mouth off. She seems overall very shrewd.
She is
calculated in like, I feel I have enough either leverage or control, be it financial or otherwise, before she would make a play like this.
Right. And she's powerful. So she doesn't have anything to be afraid of.
Yeah.
She thought.
Yeah.
So she says, so she writes this letter. And on February 7th, she wrote to Seabury and his commission saying that I am one of these people that you are looking for and I will talk. I will tell you what you want to know.
Wow.
February 20th, she goes and meets with one of the lawyers working for Seabury. So she goes downtown to the courthouse or wherever and has this meeting, and they say we need more concrete evidence because right now it's just your words. And she's like, I have evidence. I'm going to get
receipts.
That was February 20th.
Okay.
February 26th, she's found dead.
Less than a week after she goes down and says, I'm going to talk. I have the evidence. And all of a sudden, surprise, surprise, she is found
Shows
dead
up
in
dead.
a park. I'm assuming strangled, it sounds like, based
Strangled.
on the literature.
Strangled, and she also had been bludgeoned on her head.
Oh my God.
Now, the last time she is seen is the evening of February 25th. She's leaving her apartment building. So the doorman is one of the witnesses.
Yeah.
She is seen leaving her hotel. It's like 11 o'clock at night. She's the lady of the evening, so that wasn't really unusual for her.
Wasn't abnormal.
No.
Well, and they probably confirmed that she was dressed in the same outfit.
Well, yes, with some things missing. So she's seen leaving her hotel in a beautiful mink coat, wearing her diamond rings, diamond necklace, her purse. There is a sighting that she gets into a black Cadillac. There's a sighting overnight where someone saw the Cadillac driving up a road. There was a man driving. There were two men in the back with a woman, and the woman screamed out the window saying, "Help me, they're killing me." Help me.
Shit.
Oh my God.
And the person tried to follow them and ended up losing, couldn't, and called the cops, and the cops looked.
Oh, good.
And,
At least they tried.
but then she showed up dead the next day. They didn't realize at the moment, but then they do put the connection together.
That was probably her.
That was her. It was her. So they had a sighting in the black Cadillac, two men in the back, one in the front. Help, they're killing me. So
I hate that.
when they,
Because that means she knew that
Exactly.
She knew it was happening.
I was just
abducted
gonna
for
say
such
that.
a purpose. Like it wasn't
That's
like
right.
She knew
she turned and they hit her over the head and she never saw it coming, kind of thing.
She was aware of what
She was aware.
happening. God, that's horrible.
she was aware. When they found the body, just to recall back to the beginning of the story, she did not have her mink coat. She did not have jewelry. She did not have a purse. Everything that was, her outfit was the same. The shoes were, one of the shoes was kicked off. She still had her gloves on, and there was the newspaper articles, but no purse, no coat. So they convene a grand jury quickly because she was known, and this murder was like extra, read all about it.
Oh, of course it was.
Once she's identified.
Yeah.
And everybody's interested in this. The lineup for this grand jury was like all the criminals in New York were part of this grand jury, including John Radeloff, I think that's how you say it, who was a very crooked lawyer, her former boyfriend, who they had done some business dealings, and there had been some fallouts, him and his cousin. Joseph Radelow. There was a gangster known as Sam Chowderhead Cohen, and his photo is my favorite.
I'm sorry, what?
Sam Chowderhead Cohen. And if you look at his photo, hold on, you can see he looks like what you would think a Chowderhead looks like.
Chowderhead, for sure.
That's a photo of him, like, I guess, rolling his eyes in disgustion
What is this photo?
at the grand jury.
He's like,
That's
God
the
damn it,
photo.
get
This
me
is
outta
him in
here.
court?
I need
He
some
looks
chowder.
like he's like, I don't want to answer that question, right?
How dare you ask me that? Again.
Listeners, Chowderhead is an apt nickname because this man's head, it's one of those heads where his neck is so thick,
Right.
it's actually thicker than his head,
Than his
and
head.
it sort of goes head into neck into torso.
But the
it's
neck
one of
is
those
big, yeah.
situations.
And what's funny about him is
His tiny little tie.
he was
tiny
a
little tie.
yeah, he was brought in to be interviewed because he was kind of a known gangster, but he was Vivian's hired bodyguard at one point. So
He
Chowderhead,
looks huge.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
I would
Yes,
want
he
him
does.
to just like by sheer size, just like stand in front of me.
Yeah.
This
I'm just
person is
imagining him
huge.
being
Block
like,
me,
I don't.
Chowder.
He did not. Just spoiler. He did nothing wrong. I just think he's great. Some other famous people that were brought in as part of this grand jury interrogation. Arnold Rothstein, basically the father, godfather of the mob. He was part of
The
it.
Godfather.
this
Casual.
other known gangster called Legs Diamond. I just love that name as well. So it was like a parade.
Was it a guy? Because
Yeah,
I'm feeling Legs Diamond is like my stripper name.
Yeah, well,
Legs Diamond this weekend only at Rachel's. Come for the steak.
Come for the steak,
stay for the legs.
Well endowed and easy on the eyes. Legs Diamond.
Do you mean the beef cut or the women? Yeah.
It's funny because I have no legs whatsoever, so that's why it's even.
Don't you, Jen? I don't know.
No, I mean
I've seen
I
you
have
stand.
legs, but they're not like long and elegant by any means. Anyway,
Well,
Legs
Neither were
Diamond.
Legs Diamonds.
and Legs Diamonds weren't either. I
Yeah,
can't.
probably not.
So this parade of the corrupt of New York
Yeah.
come in. Everybody's claiming I don't know nothing.
Nothing about nothing.
I don't know nothing about nothing. And the murder investigation stalls, but it's going fast because at this point, the news was going every day, front page, who murdered
Sure.
Vivian Gordon. It's everywhere. So FDR is seeing all this and he is like this corruption investigation going into the cops. It has to have something to do with this. So he gives Seabury the basically expands his focus. So Seabury stays on the corruption side, but FDR does something. He gives him a broader reach, probably gives him more financial resources, I'm thinking, to really turn the heat up on this investigation. And then he also has the Bronx DA open a special investigation into the Manhattan DA. Like, it's crazy. So there's these multiple investigations are happening. There's an investigation into the Manhattan DA because based on everything that's been going on, FDR is like, that guy's got to be corrupt.
Yeah.
Then there's the corruption of the vice squad and the magistrates. That investigation's going on. And then, of course, the murder itself. That investigation's going on. So these are all going on at the same 3 times. And New York is like insane with
Good
news.
grief.
It's all anybody can talk about.
Yeah.
Now, this is a sad part of the story.
Okay.
And I'll
this
do a
is.
I was going to say,
This whole thing's pretty tragic, but continue.
other than Chowderhead, it's been kind of a bummer.
yeah, Chowderhead's been the highlight.
Who knew Chowderhead was going to be the comic relief? So I'm going to do a trigger warning for self-harm at this point for the next piece of the story. But we have back in Charleston, we have Benita, who's the daughter, who really probably didn't know what her mom did for a living. She just knew her mom lived in New York and she wasn't allowed to see her. And then the news breaks and it's a national scandal. And what she discovers what her mom was doing up there. And then why she was probably killed, because she wanted the conviction thrown out so she could get her daughter back. So Benita realizes that she's actually part of her mother's getting murdered.
The reason, in a way, yeah.
And so she's 16 years old. This is a lot.
And to read it in the press,
Paper.
too, that this is how you find out.
This is how you find out. And there are reports that from she was starting to get shunned at school. Like, it wasn't a secret who her mother, like, it wasn't a secret, but people started kind of ostracizing her. So on March 4th, which was just 10 days
Yeah.
after her mother's body was found, she turned her books in at school and said, we're moving and I'm not going to be in school anymore, and went home and turned the gas oven on. And killed herself.
Oh.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And they found diary. She did not leave a note, but they found several diary entries. She had started writing in her diary when the news broke.
Yeah.
And she wrote things like, I cannot face the world any longer. This has gotten to be too much for me. I'm going to end it all. Everyone has been so nice to me, especially Mother. But she's not talking about Vivian when she says mother. She's talking about her stepmother who raised her. And her stepmother is, unfortunately, her name was Eunice. She, unfortunately, is the one that she came home from work and all the blinds were drawn and the door was locked. And I guess they didn't lock their doors at this time.
Yeah. No, why would you?
No,
Yeah.
you don't have to.
So she went and found a police officer and said, I think something's wrong at my house.
Yeah.
So the police officer came with her and they opened the house and they smelled the gas and there was Benita. They did try to revive her, but
terrible.
they took her to the hospital and she was pronounced dead.
Yeah.
The principal gave this quote to the police officers that the last day that she was alive, she was at school, and she said, I spoke soothing to her, urging her to try to forget the cloud that had passed across her life's horizon.
Oh.
You know, when you're 16, you can't see past what's happening to you.
No,
so,
you can't.
But
No, it's
at least
terrible
right now,
timing
today
too.
is all that
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
I mean, she did have adults in her lives who were aware that she was going through this and were trying to give her support, but they just
Sure.
didn't know how to do it back then. And so this hits the news
Oh no.
that Vivian Gordon's
Fucking
daughter
hell.
has killed herself. So now this is what really amps up the investigations. And on March 13th, there's a break in the corruption case, which is McLaughlin, the Awuga cop asshole. Yeah. McLaughlin, they'd been going through his finances, and he had an annual salary of $3,000. Okay, that was the norm. That was what he made as a police officer. Well, over the past couple of years, he'd had a total of $35,800 deposited into his bank account that he could not account for.
Well.
So,
Wow.
yeah. They were like, where'd this money come from? Now, while
Seems like a lot.
it does, he was never charged at this point. However, it gave them the next kind of missing piece with the corruption case.
Uh-huh.
And then they discovered 3 individuals who in early April, they ended up indicting for Vivian's murder because this wonderful person, Harry Stein, just kidding, he's not wonderful.
I was like, you said wonderful. That was a red flag. Yeah.
Yeah. Not only did he owe Vivian money, but the police had found evidence that he disposed of the mink coat, her jewelry, and her purse like the day after the murder.
Nope.
So they were able to arrest him and
Good.
his buddy Samuel Greenhauer. And they had evidence that they were the 2 guys in the car with her that had been spotted. And then a third guy, Harry Schlitten, who was a buddy of theirs and was the driver. So for a reduced sentence, Schlitten flipped on Stein.
Good.
And said that Stein told him he had been hired by John Radeloff, the ex-boyfriend and crooked lawyer who had had a major falling out with Vivian. He was hired by him to have her killed.
What?
So what's...
I didn't see that coming.
I know. So the unfortunate part... the unfortunate part.
The unfortunate.
Now's the unfortunate part?
This whole thing is unfortunate.
This whole thing is unfortunate. And so the 2, Harry and Samuel, these 2 guys, Stein and Greenhauer, who have now been accused of her murder, they end up alibying out. And they have these strong alibis that they cannot, well, I don't know if they cannot shake, but they're not able to. And but they still, the whole thing goes to trial, and the jury goes out for 3, is it days or hours? That's a really big difference. Olivia,
Matters.
That is a
really
difference.
big
Yes.
difference. 3 hours, they came back and they acquitted the men.
Son of a.
They acquitted the
Damn
men. Something.
What was this alibi? Like, unless they were like
Yeah.
I
in
wanna know what
prison
it
or
is, right?
something. Like, yeah. How
So-
good was this?
Right. Greenhauer, who was the friend who got brought in, Greenhauer was sitting Shiva for his mother, and his family swore up and down that he was there sitting Shiva, which is the Jewish term for being in mourning for his mother. So he wasn't going out. He wasn't doing things at that time.
Yeah.
And then Stein, okay, this to me sounds so... Stein's alibi was he was with his sister at the movies and then a Chinese restaurant.
Oh. Uh-huh.
What?
No.
Right.
No to both of these. I'm sorry.
Because it's family.
He's a good boy. He would never
he would never
we're
do
all,
that. Yeah, I'll say
we're
you were
already
sitting Shiva.
grieving. We have enough to worry about. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. A representative of the grand jury that had been convened that had interviewed all the mobsters in New York. A representative actually made a statement that they were shocked that this verdict came back, and then the Bronx DA was quoted as saying this was a gross miscarriage of justice.
Yeah.
Did they own people on the jury? I don't know. Like you know what I mean? Like were somebody paid off to throw the case? Were the jurors? I don't know. So
were there any women in the jury, or were they all
That is
men?
actually an excellent question. I don't know. Jury of your peers. I don't.
Women were first allowed to serve on juries in New York State in 1937.
There you go.
I knew it. I was like, I bet they weren't even allowed to serve on a jury
excellent
yet.
call. No.
Yeah.
Now, Jimmy Walker, Gentleman Jimmy, the mayor of New York, when Vivian was murdered, they went to her apartment and they found this basically little black book. So this was the Epstein files, of the day. Everyone who was anyone was listed in this book. She had a book of contacts.
They always are.
Always are. They always are.
We're not
It had
idiots.
politicians.
Yes.
It had mobsters. It had the wealthy. It had Broadway producers. Everybody was in this book.
Because money gives you privilege to think that you're fine.
Right.
And that nothing can touch you.
Some of the names came out, kind of like we want the Epstein files released. Some of the names came out, and it just showed how corrupt the government was. And this whole fiasco was really the nail in the coffin of Jimmy Walker's career, but it took a while. So he was being pressured by the city commission to resign throughout this whole thing, and people were turning against him, and he wouldn't do it. Even to the point of when Stein, Greenhauer, and Schlitten, I want to call him Schitten, but Schlitten, when they were all arrested, Jimmy made this grand statement about how, look, justice has been served. The murderers have been found. There was no cover-up. Congratulations to the DA. Meanwhile, he's being investigated himself for corruption. But he was trying to act like...
This could be happening today.
Right now?
Right
I'm seeing
now.
a lot of...
A lot of overlap.
We don't-
It's like
you know,
nothing has
nothing
freaking
changes.
changed.
Everything has always been corrupt.
So, 1932, finally, FDR forces Jimmy Walker to resign.
Good.
His wife was probably like, God damn it,
Well,
Franklin.
and speaking...
Do something.
Oh, Franklin's wife. I thought you meant Jimmy's wife. I was like, speaking
No,
of Jimmy's
Eleanor
wife...
was like, will you do something? Speaking of
Speaking of
segues.
Jimmy's wife, Jimmy, notorious party boy philanderer, he then fled to Europe,
Oh, good.
where Betty Compton was waiting for him, and they had been rumored to have been dating. Well, he went to Europe, met Betty Compton over there, divorces his wife, and then marries Betty, and they lived over in Europe for many years.
I'm screaming. Like,
I'm innocent. I mean, I'm leaving and going to Europe, but I'm innocent.
Can you see
I'm
why there was a
totally
musical
innocent.
that had this guy in it? Something really cool about this book is it gives whatever happened to
Oh, great.
some of these
Tell us.
characters.
oh yes,
What
tell me
happened to
about
Chowderhead?
Chowderhead.
He's my favorite. Okay, here we go. Sam Chowderhead Cohen, also known as Samuel Harris. He was
Boring.
Vivian's
Chowderhead.
much better. Material witness in a passport fraud case that came up against Harry Stein.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
Harry Stein never escaped the shadow of guilt for Vivian's
Good.
murder.
Good.
They all believed he was the one that did it. And I'll tell you what happened to him, too.
Great.
But, so Chowderhead went on to become a proponent of what the newspapers called, quote, muscular mediation in labor disputes.
He was the muscle behind the unions.
He was, this is great. He was arrested many times in 1936 and 37 for alleged strike-breaking tactics, I think.
Literally gonna break you.
Hey, you want to meet with Chowder Head? Or you going to get in line, you scabber?
Oh my
Screaming,
God.
I love it.
He, in 1937, was sentenced to an indeterminate prison sentence for charges that he defrauded a government relief fund. I mean,
Old Chowderhead. You know what?
White
They
collar
probably
crime.
deserved it.
white collar.
Yeah.
He complained that he was not a strike breaker. I didn't do it.
I didn't break nobody.
I can tell from looking at one photo of him, he absolutely did it.
After 1956, Cohen, who had complained that he was constantly broke, disappeared, was never heard from again. So,
no!
but
Somebody
I don't know.
snuffed
Did he
him.
just find his other life, or
hope
did
so.
he go the way of Jimmy Hoffa? I don't know. With the fishes, with the sharks.
Did he open a chowder restaurant in the New
That's-
England area?
That's what it is. He's in like some tiny little town in Rhode Island
I love
where
it.
no one can find him.
Yes.
Chowder.
Jack Legs Diamond
Yeah.
dodged assassination attempts for years. He was finally shot and killed
Oh, no!
December 18th, 1931.
My namesake.
Yeah. So
Was it at a strip club? I need to know.
I need to
it
know. Was it at Rachel's?
in a hotel room in Albany.
Oh.
Arnold Rothstein, so the head of the mafia.
Okay.
His nickname, his moniker, we got Chowderhead.
Right.
He was known as the Brain.
The
'cause
brain.
He came up with the whole system.
Pinky
the
for
brain
and
of the
the brain.
operation.
Rothstein was shot and killed November 4th, 1928 during a meeting at the hotel.
Okay.
He refused to pay a $300,000 debt he had accrued after a high-stakes poker game.
Oh, shit.
But when police questioned him as to who he owed the money to and who shot him, he told investigators, quote, "My mudda did it."
These people.
My mother did it.
$300,000
debt at that
30s.
time. At
Wait.
that time.
Keep talking. I'm going to find out how much money that is.
Jen, do the conversion math.
gonna
Yeah,
do
I
the
need to know.
conversion.
Samuel
Matt.
Seabury, the hero of the story.
Not to be confused with the guy in Hamilton.
Also a Samuel Seabury giving
Also
free,
a Samuel
free
Seabury.
thoughts.
I found the
about his math.
conversion.
Oh.
Sorry.
For his
what's the conversion?
$300,000, the $300,000, his mother did it. $5 million.
So he owed $5 million to somebody. He died 2 days later, so he did end up dying from the gunshot wound.
From the gunshot wound that he got.
But like
He
not
died
outright.
2
But
days.
still, Sky Masterson though, like $5 million.
Yeah. So yeah,
Guy
exactly.
Mastis has got nothing on this guy.
Luck was not a lady that
Luck
night
was
to
not
Arnold
a
Rothstein.
Guys,
he didn't sell
our
out.
playlist is like jamming this.
He didn't. So Seabury, he wrapped up the investigation, and from 1934 to 1937, he was special counsel on transit matters for New York. He tried to bring unification to the transit workers, and it was unsuccessful, probably thanks to Chowderhead.
Chowderhead.
He became president of the
Tiny
bar.
tie.
Oh.
Yeah, president
I
of the
can see
bar of
that.
New York City till 1941.
Still wearing that collar.
And that's right. That's right. He kept his hair parted down the middle till he died. He died 1958 at the age of 85.
Oh, wow.
Good for him.
Yep.
See, be a good guy. Don't be a mobster. You won't get shot.
That's right. And he left his estate. It seems like he had a somewhat substantial estate. He did not have children, but his estate went to his 10 nieces and nephews.
Wow.
And in Manhattan, there is a Samuel Seabury playground.
Cute.
So he was kind of the hero of the story.
Yeah.
The hero.
We have a couple more I want to get
Yes,
to. So
please.
Harry Stein, the son of a bitch that
Yes.
shot Vivian
Yes.
Gordon, or
Definitely.
strangled and
Murdered.
bludgeoned, not shot. That
Murderer.
would have been too easy. The murderer,
Yeah,
Harry
right.
Stein. After his, yes, big
Yeah, he
time.
gets
After his acquittal in the Vivian Gordon murder case, he was jailed for 25 years of the forceful robbing of a Manhattan woman.
Just like OJ.
After his release, he carried out a life of crime and met his final comeuppance in the robbery of the Reader's Digest armored car, which took the life of the truck worker. So he was convicted of first-degree murder in 1950, and in 1955, he went to the electric chair in Sing Sing.
Well.
So at least karma did end up getting him. And here's my favorite. Gentleman Jimmy.
Yes, tell us. Tell us.
I don't know that karma caught up with him. I think Gentleman Jimmy just must have sold his soul to the devil in
He was
Georgia
having a
one
good time.
night.
So.
So after he, quote, resigned forcibly, he traveled through Europe with Betty Compton,
Right. His
whom
poor
he
wife
married in
sitting at home.
Cannes in 1933 after he finally divorced his poor wife. So the Walkers, which was now Betty Compton Walker, they bounced around Europe, eventually settled in England. He wrote a column for the London paper for a while.
What?
Money was tight, and so he was living off his wife, Betty Compton, the actress, living off her money. After the prosecution for tax evasion ended in 1935, Walker and Betty came back to New York. So he waited.
Indeed.
He waited it out, huh?
He waited it out, came back, and then in 1937 he was given a job of assistant counsel to the State Transit Commission.
Stop
Which
it.
must have just pissed off Samuel Seabury, who was trying to work on that transit unification. He worked there, and he qualified for pension. He made $12,000 a year, which, pretty decent back then.
Yeah.
They adopted a girl and a boy in 1936. In 1940, Fiero LaGuardia, who was now mayor, appointed Walker impartial chairman for a segment of the garment industry. And so he ended up resolving labor disputes at that time. So he and Betty Compton lived in relative quiet, eventually moved to a home in Long Island to breed Irish terriers and chickens. I don't know if the chickens were also Irish. If it's like
Long
Irish
Island?
terriers and Irish chickens, I'm not sure.
What is an Irish chicken?
1941, he and Betty filed for divorce.
Whoopsie.
She filed on grounds of mental cruelty.
Sure.
That old chestnut.
And then she passed away in 44. He, a year later, served as president of the Majestic Record Company.
Oh my God. He's all over the fucking place.
I know. Well,
Pick a lane, my dude. Like,
why
I feel like
you
he
don't
had
need
an
to
in
when
with
you're
the-
good time
when you're
gentleman Jimmy.
He definitely had an in with the mob. They protected him for some
He
reason.
probably,
Like-
in all honesty, Jen, I'm
Yeah.
sure that he did. He
Yeah.
absolutely did. He had way too many
that was why
connections
he was,
and underground.
That's why
He was
he was
just-
smiling.
better about appearing like a degree removed or like squeaky
Yeah.
clean. Enough plausible deniability.
Yeah.
I would also just like to say that while we are looking at the drive here, we said this at the outset, listeners, because Olivia, you mentioned that she was described as chubby. Vivian Gordon is just a person with a completely average, like a straight
Not
size body.
At all.
She's not
yes.
strikingly
Thank you for saying
beautiful.
that.
Like she has a normal round face, but
Yeah.
she's not plump. She's just not.
No.
But she's someone who, like, again,
She's not
beauty
a stick.
standards of the time, but like her face, listeners, just has rounder features, which
Yeah.
have nothing to do with her weight. If that makes
No,
sense.
no,
Like
you're
Julia
right.
Stiles.
She just has
Julia
a round,
Stiles has a very round
round
face.
round
face.
face.
That's right.
Yes. No, she is whatever the average size of a woman is for this era. I'm guessing
It was Vivian
that.
Gordon.
It's Vivian Gordon, yeah. God damn them.
Last
Know
note
that.
of Jimmy Walker.
yeah.
I just think this is an interesting. I kind of want to read his biographies.
I
So
know.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
he died at age 65 in 1946 with a blood clot.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
ugh, they're horrible.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Jen unfortunately knows how blood clots.
I do. I
Jen
had
a
one
blood
once.
clot once.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, long time ago. They still don't know why, but it's fine. That's for
Deep vein
Patreon.
thrombosis.
Yeah.
So as he was dying, one of the reporters wrote, he still looked, even on his deathbed, while asleep, the ruddy-cheeked, black-haired young Irishman who walked into City Hall 20 years ago as mayor. So he died. His funeral was held at St. Patrick's Cathedral
In New York City?
Yes, it drew a crowd of 14,500 in and outside of the cathedral, and 300 cops provided security. He is buried at the Gate of Heaven Cemetery in Valhalla, New York.
Diggity
So,
dang.
Karma
Yeah, he
didn't
made
really
deals
come
with
for him.
people.
He kind of lived his life as a good time guy.
He made a deal with somebody or multiple
I think you're right. He was
Something.
probably in... And Irish, we know that a lot of the cops are Irish
Luck
up
of the
there.
Irish.
And
Yeah. Protect
so
their own.
that is the story of her murder was never officially solved. That was the story. But we all know who
really?
did it. We all know
we
who
all
did
know
it. It was Harry and
Yeah. No,
His
no,
buddies.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was it really? Do we believe it was at the behest of her?
She had a quote that she said, I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
That of
because
all,
that
she
surprised
wasn't,
me.
yeah. And then there was one person that she feared was John Radloff.
Oh shit.
In all her comings and goings, he scared her. They had been lovers and then they became enemies, and he did scare her. So the fact that she said that, and then the driver claimed that he'd been paid by him to kill her, I think maybe. But there's no shortage of suspects, for God's sake.
there isn't.
Everybody could have wanted her dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was there like an incident that you read before that would have made him
Yeah, hold on.
do it? Pay the guy?
Yes, there was. She mentions him in her diary, and the diary was found when she was murdered, and they went through her apartment.
Okay.
There was 7 diaries that they found, and
Receipts.
and all these names in the little black book of who was screwing who.
Yep.
They showed that Vivian feared her old attorney and lover, John Radloff. She wrote she was keeping the diary because, quote, "It is best to put down things as they happen concerning John Radloff. He is not to be trusted. He would stoop to anything." Part of it is she believed that he could cause her harm. And she actually wrote, quote, "If anything happens to me, he's to blame, he and his henchmen."
Well, there you go.
And she wrote, "The threat has been made. Sam Cohen," that's Chowda Head. He's a client of Radloff's, and he brought 2 thugs
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
to threaten her.
And he used to be her bodyguard.
Yeah.
No!
After all that,
Head.
Chowda Head.
I take back
why?
everything I said about him and
Why?
his little tie.
Yeah.
So
Lex Diamond is our new hero.
She had loaned Radloff money.
Okay.
And she said he would stoop to anything. He's the only one who is really an enemy of mine because of certain things I had told his wife in retaliation for all the rotten things he has done to me.
Oh,
He was just
he
using
was
me.
married?
Whoopsies.
Oh shit!
So I do think that he paid.
Yeah.
Yes. I think he paid to have it done. And I think Chowda Head was just doing what he was told. But he did. I don't think he
course.
actually ever. What Chowda Head didn't hurt her.
No, Chowda had just threatened.
He was just a goon.
He was just a muscle.
Yeah.
You know, stood at the door and scared you.
Yeah.
Guy.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, there you go.
done.
Yeah.
This saga or any of this, again, especially in the just the
No.
world of theater, and we've talked about in other episodes, like the early development of like Broadway and New York, theater scene, like as we know it now. Had no idea. Wow.
This is why they had to get an actors equity union, because this shit was going on and actors were getting
this, and they were like taking them to Iowa and then being like, "Oops, no show.
Whoopsies.
Good luck getting back."
guess you live on a farm now. Bye.
Yeah, where's the HBO doc about this? I'm gonna need
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
more.
Actually, let me see if there's a John Radloff. After the Vivian Gordon case, he struggled in his law practice, no shit, and had to settle with his wife an expensive divorce case.
Good.
He later disappeared from public view, was never charged. So
Well,
I'm
that's
gonna
not good, but
I'm going to guess probably she was blackmailing. Even though she was scared of him, she had too much dirt on him and he wanted her out of the picture because she knew too much.
yeah. Well, and sometimes even if you're scared of somebody, at some point it becomes like, okay, well, this is all I got, so I got to like throw it in, right?
Yeah.
So
she crossed too many people. It could have been one of any of them.
could have been a couple of them.
I think it could have been a couple of them. I think it could have been him, but it also could have been maybe McLaughlin had something to do with it because she was going to turn on him. I don't know, but it was never officially solved. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
There were, and women at this time, they were murdered and discarded. There was a lot of unsolved
As we know.
murders.
Well,
Yeah.
At
and
this
this
time
is
of these same women, these Broadway butterflies.
And this
you
is
know?
still a problem now. Like the there's a case that's in the news. It hasn't gone to court yet, but the Gilgo Beach serial killer, his
Right.
victims were all sex workers. And part of the reason, there's many reasons why it took so long. Some of it is political corruption, that it took so
Yes.
long to
Yes.
get investigated or like really like get evidence even tested, because the chief of police who was initially leading the investigation, he was also afraid that if too much evidence came out about like the sex worker community, that he would be implicated because he was engaging with sex
On
workers.
the list? Because he was on a list?
Yeah, sure was. So like he harbored the investigation of a serial killer to protect himself. But then
Christ.
even so, it's and again, like these were young women with like families and like they're people and human beings.
Yeah.
And to even now, what are we, like 100 years from this case, to get victims who are sex workers taken seriously, it's still just like, well, she was engaging in a dangerous line of work, implying she had it coming, or she
had it coming. She
deserved
deserved
it.
it.
Yeah, you did
She-
something
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's like,
always the excuse. Yeah. It's,
Right.
the same thing of, oh, well, she was wearing a short skirt.
right. Yeah. What were you wearing?
Yeah, what were you wearing?
Fuck you. It's
Yep.
just so infuriating.
I was like,
Believe
yeah,
women.
I was like, I would like to ask a man. I was like, and what were you wearing at the time? Like,
Right.
did you provoke her? Like, what happened to you? Like,
Yeah. Were you wearing tight jeans?
were you wearing?
Were your
her
jeans too tight?
flirt
Were you
with
wearing a
you?
slutty little tie? Like,
Or slutty little glasses?
Slutty little tie, chowder head.
Shout
What was-
ahead?
What's your little tie looking like?
man.
Man.
Yeah. So there you go.
Thanks.
But if it wasn't for Vivian, Jimmy Walker never would have been removed as mayor, and the corruption
That's
never
true.
would have been weeded out. It's because of the media attention that her death brought,
Wow.
and then the suicide of her daughter. That coincides with FDR ramping up and putting those special investigations in. So it sucks that it cost the life of two
Yeah.
women, but it did bring down the corruption in New York. It did get it sorted out. Tammany Hall became extinct soon after. So
Wow.
Just became a musical.
yeah, it just became mentioned in a musical.
Wow.
Wow.
What
Yeah.
a case.
There you
Well,
go.
I mean, at least Vivian was dressed well to be a ghost.
That's true. Her ghost outfit sounds very, very nice.
It's real
Ghost
good.
outfit was very nice.
Yeah, so well done. Wow, that was insane. Thanks,
Thanks,
you,
Olivia.
That
This
was
is
awesome.
what a
You're
ride.
welcome.
What a ride.
It was it had everything.
It did. It
And
really
yeah,
A
did.
little bit of everything.
yeah.
Excellent. Well,
A little crime, a little scandal.
Scandal, sex, mobsters, prohibition,
thing
and
we didn't have
Broadway.
were- At
Broadway.
Broadway.
we are approaching the end here of season
Yeah.
2, Fast and Furious.
Crazy.
Got to figure out our grand finale.
Oh yeah, our finale. Yes.
Whatever that
Indeed.
entails.
It's me next week, ladies.
Yeah.
So
What?
strap in. We're coming back to the 2000s.
I was gonna say, what's our next?
What is it?
We are going to talk about
Yes,
the movie Rust.
that's right.
Oh,
And,
Rust. That's right.
the shooting of the DP and Alec Baldwin and all the things that came along with that. It's tragic, but I'm very interested to unpack that with you.
Yeah.
ladies. So-
You're like, oh my goodness. Well, Olivia. Oh wait, she's showing us a.
Oh, she's showing us a picture. Is it Shout Ahead? There he is.
God.
Just Shout Ahead, rolling his eyes.
So disgusted to
Oh,
me.
he's so
and
disgusted to be
cracking
there.
up.
Icon for our
He's
time.
disgusted with all of it.
The icon we didn't know we needed. Just
We need a shirt
he's just disgusted with
of
everything.
just Shout of that
Like,
picture.
this is a meme in the making,
is.
Right?
You know, just like. Anyway,
Yeah, I want us to make a shirt that has a picture of Chowderhead on it. That's
Just
it.
him. I'm sure we could do this.
And scene.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Wicked Stage Pod.
Follow us on Instagram and check out our Patreon for more exclusive content.
These deliciously wicked episodes drop every other Friday, so make sure you subscribe or follow and don't get left waiting in the wings.